Thanks for staying with us. So, permanent voters card is hot. Why is it hot? Because over the weekend, a Reverend Father stopped his members from entering the church because he would not let them enter without their PVC. That video went viral. I don't know if we can have an opportunity to show it at some point. But that video went viral. As that was going viral, we also saw videos where young people, celebrities, organized a concert where PVCs was one of the major things that was being marketed. So there's this new move by young Nigerians about getting their PVCs, although we've been talking about this since last year. But suddenly in the last couple of weeks, the talk on PVCs has come to front burner, to the point where a church pastor was saying, you can't enter without your PVC. What are your thoughts on this? Is this the new thing we must do? Must we go to these extreme measures to get people to vote? And if we sustain this, could it swing the numbers we're going to be looking at 2023? What are your thoughts? Is it enough to get more Nigerians to vote? What are your thoughts? You can call us on 081-270-53687, 091-390-76948. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your view TVC so we can read your tweet. So lots of people are excited. Wow, it will be really fantastic if more people go out. But can it be sustained? Do you think it's a good thing? How did you feel when you saw that video with the pastor and even the concert?
So with the priest at first, I thought it was commendable.
Yeah.
On one side of it, which is, he's doing his part to make sure that young people understand the importance of having a PVC. It's one thing to talk and criticize the government, and then it's another thing to put your mouth where your PVC is, have a PVC and make a decision for yourself, for your life, for your future. And he was trying to do that. And, I always push for, I feel that a lot of change happens at the grassroots. That is the community priest. They know him. He knows maybe many of them one-on-one, knows their names, and he's doing his part. But the other side of it is, well, because PVC is voluntary, you can't force people to, you cannot tell them, well, you can't come in here to worship God if you don't have your PVC. Hello? What has my worship of my God got to do with PVC? Do you understand? So on one end, I understand what he was trying to do. And I guess because also he's their priest. They know him, they love him, they trust him. They would not take it as if, he was the governor of a whole state. And then you come and insisting that you have to show your PVC to go to a certain place. You're like, who are you? How dare you, infringe on my right to come and worship? But I feel it's the right move. And concerning the events going around and asking youth to come with their PVC, fantastic. Enough is enough of all the talk. A lot of times when young people talk, the feedback they always get is, yeah, right, a warrior on Twitter. That's all you can do, talk on Twitter. Come and show us where it needs to be shown. Take that your PVC, go and make a... go and vote. Yeah. And I feel that once you get that PVC, it already empowers you. If you have the PVC, then you want to go and vote. You want to make sure that the person that I believe should be my president or my governor, I'm going to make sure that I make that decision.
But let me come to you. So do you think we need these drastic measures across? But I was seeing that people were saying that, let PVC become a requirement to apply for visa. Let it be the first thing. PVC number before you even enter the American visa or UK application portals. These are things that would let Nigerians, especially the educated Nigerians, to get involved. What are your thoughts?
So I think that Nigeria is a country where they would push you to the wall, we dig the hole within the wall. We don't like pushing back. So for us to have, for there to be change, we must have a bit of drastic measures, and everybody needs to get involved. We're a very religious country. We have more people attending church service and praying for change in Nigeria than getting actively involved in what will bring about change. Yeah. So, and we cry to our pastors, we cry to the imams. When things go wrong, when your child is sick and you can't afford to pay the hospital bill, you don't go and understanding the fact that because you don't have money, what they now do is resort to prayer. So being such a religious society and not being able to separate principles from religion, we need our religious leaders to be more vocal in guiding people, because it serves...
How do you differentiate church and state? They'll tell you don't get involved.
No. I don't believe in state pastors not getting involved in politics and what's happening in the state. I believe that we need to be involved. Pastors pay school fees, pastors pay hospital bills, pastors console people when they lose their relatives and family members to the insecurity challenges within Nigeria. Pastors are the end. They are the ones, they are covering up for the inefficiency of the government. Pastors are having to do schools, create scholarships. From the end of the day, pastors are running a seemingly parallel government to support what is happening in the state. And even in developed countries, there are charity organizations that is registered so that you can support in areas where you exist, give food and all of that. So I believe they should be involved. However, the degree with which you can be involved depends on what your leader, the people that are being led, allow. The priest felt that in this auditorium, before you come in, you need to show your PVC. I need to get you people more involved. That was his own approach. If the members feel contrary, in some churches, the members control the parishioners control the leader. They vote out who they believe is not appropriate. They can write a letter to petition. You can decide to petition the process. But if you are attending a church where the pastor or the father is the one, the priest is the one in charge, whatever rules he makes is like when you're in Rome, you behave like a Roman. So I totally support what this priest is doing. I helped my in-laws when I visited them on Saturday to register, to do the CVR and change their address, because they did not change their address. So change your address, reissue, change where your polling unit is going to be. They didn't do that. And they didn't even know they could do it from their phone. They felt they had to go and join a queue. So we all must take responsibility to start spreading the word and helping one another to do it. I must applaud Fowles, the bad guy, because he was the one that championed the event over the weekend. That concert was done to promote people getting more involved, and there were a lot of conversations in between the concerts to wake people's awareness, because entertainment is what many young people tilt towards. They will pay for concerts, but they might not go and queue up to get their PVC. So rewarding the process of getting your PVC, they even allowed you with a slip to come in, is a good move.
I was watching Nigerian Idol. I can't remember the figure exactly. It was over 100 million votes.
Exactly. And how many registered in Nigeria?
So I'm thinking to yourself, we have young people who are diligently voting for their favorite stars to emerge on reality shows. If you can get that number, so I like what Fowles did, yes, put together a concert. But my question is, can this tilt the numbers? Because, you know, politicians right now, they feel like they can predict voting. Oh, this region is the heaviest. Oh, that region doesn't vote. That, you know, they have this thing, the same thing that CNN did that time, when they were predicting how Hillary Clinton was going to win. But somehow the numbers just changed on them based on the strategy. So if young people sustain this strategy of coming out to vote and bringing out new numbers from the South-South, Southeast, Southwest, can it be enough to tip? Can it be enough to change the voting patterns that we know of?
So politicians, this is their job, you know. They pay attention to the numbers. They know they know where the heavy numbers are coming from, what region it comes from. They have an idea on the socioeconomic class of the of people that vote. And the people that they put forward to run for office is determined by these numbers that they have, you know, looked at. I feel that many of the people who speak on social media, the whole different demographic, you know, most of them educated, exposed, you know, good exposure, but many of those people do not vote. And I feel that when they start to get their PVCs and the politicians realize this sort of people getting their votes, the politics will be different. It will be issue-based politics going forward, because they know to appeal to this group of people, you have to come with something. They will ask you real questions, and you need to give them real answers. If you say you're going to provide water, hospital, they're going to ask you where you're getting the money from. They're going to ask you about the debt profile, and you should be able to provide that. They're going to, and going forward, parties now will determine, parties, delegates, and all those will determine the person that shows up based on, you know, real credibility, not just who has the most money or who can share the most money. So those are the things that will change politics going forward. If we get the number of young people to pick up PVCs now, it would really tilt, you know, it will really change what we'll see in 2023. But I just don't know if it is enough time till 2023, or this is something we'll see maybe in another 8 years. Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll open our phone lines to get your thoughts on this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing the issue of PVCs and the fact that many people are taking drastic measures to ensure more people go out and register. You can call us on 081-270-53687, 091-397-6948 to join the conversation. I was looking for the data on the number of registered voters, and according to 2019, I mean, this is as of 2019, we have over 82 million registered to vote, of which only 34% came out. So the question is the strategy to get more guys who already have the PVCs to go out to vote, or to get new voters? Because that's what, if you're telling people to go out and get the PVCs, you're talking to the new guys that just turned 18, the new ones that just never really interested in politics. That's a whole new crop of people. But they're existing 60-some% of Nigerians who have their PVCs and have refused to vote or participate. What can be done to get those people to also participate? Because we need those numbers now. Only 34% voted in the last elections.
So I checked Wikipedia, and the breakdown of the voters, 15 million people voted for our current president.
Yeah.
And that just makes you know that the decision making is not, this is 15 people voted for our president out of 200 million. What they say is over 200 million, but just even say 200 million Nigerians, and the decision was carried out about who our leader would be was decided by 15 million people. 11 million people also voted for Atiku Abubakar. The total people that voted entirely, 28 million out of 200 million. So there are many people that did not even register. The target for INEC this registration cycle was to get our registration up to 120 million. So they wanted to add 40 million to the number. How successful has that been? We're yet to find out until it's concluded. But we have enough people who are captured. We know that people have traveled out of the country, maybe people have relocated. It can be up to 5 million. So there are enough people within the registered voting, we are registered voters in Nigeria to sway any election. If 50% that did not vote in 2019 come out, the 50% can decide who will become the next president. This feeling and social media comments I hear, like, it's don't bother, it's already done, the people that win will win, there's nothing we can do about it, is what festers voter apathy. People don't want to, they just feel like my vote will not count, so let me not bother myself. But I hope that from this conversation you can understand the number of people not voting are more than those voting. And if everybody gets more involved, we can sway things to whichever direction suits us.
Well, it's interesting how those on Twitter, many of them are living abroad.
Yes.
So if you try to go by those commenting on social media, you realize that if you look at the back end, I mean, I don't have access to the back end, but it would be interesting to see some of this back end data to know where are these comments coming from, which countries are they coming from. You realize that many of them don't live in the country. So if you go by that, you might be totally diverted from the real facts. What are your thoughts on this?
I don't know if most of them live abroad. I think that most of the ones that have a huge following live abroad, but there are many Nigerians living in Nigeria that follow them, you know.
And they can influence.
So yes, and they have. I think we have the numbers of Nigerians in Nigeria.
40 million Twitter users in Nigeria. 40 million Twitter users in Nigeria. That is more than the entire people that voted in 2019.
So, you know, you mentioned voter apathy. And one thing I hear, this voter apathy is not a Nigerian problem. It's a global problem. And one of the things I see is it has a lot to do with the young voters, the 18 to, let's say, 30-year-olds or 35-year-olds. They are not, it's not really their thing. And I read recently, someone made a post, which I agree with, saying that the electioneering or electoral process is quite outdated. A lot of things are happening online now. So maybe if we look at doing that online, where people are able to, you know, get their PVCs online, which we saw a huge number of people actually do it. INEC even mentioned that in the very first week, we had millions of Nigerians go online to do their registration, because that was such a new option. An option for this demographic, this particular demographic, that's where they are most of the time, where they spend their time. If we do that, if we're able to put getting PVCs, voting online, there will be a huge
Of course.
change.
You know, they tried to...
Huge wave.
They tried to amend the Electoral Act for that electoral voting, but it was shut down.
Yeah.
Let me take this call from Charles. Charles, are you there? Oh, so sorry we lost that call. Please kindly try to call back. I mean, sorry, I remember there was a huge debate on should they allow electronic voting. If they did that, forget it.
Yeah.
Not just electronic
We've
voting,
so different.
diasporan voting. There are many, yes, there are many electoral. We need to get more involved because you can't on Twitter be complaining about the government not assenting to electoral voting or diasporan voting because you are not involved. There are people in diaspora that actually travel to Nigeria to attend their ward meeting, their APC meeting, because they just want to be part of the process of electing people into office. That's why I totally love what the priest did, and I think we need to get more pastors doing it. The millions
have been doing it. In fairness, many
people.
churches. I have attended a few churches where I go for a visit, and I see that part of the information. Please, in fact, they give you the data, the website.
Yes.
Go and register. So many pastors
that
have
helped me because I didn't know that I could just do it on my phone. It was in church that there's a unit outside that tells you how to do it, and we did it then. And
you know my problem, Miriam,
with churches or with religious bodies. What used to be the case was that they would almost want to tell you the exact person to vote for. So I prefer this, where this is more about governance and more about civic responsibility. You're a Nigerian, old enough to vote, have a PVC. But what used to happen is some churches will tell you, this is our son, the child of our whatever, this is a particular religion, you know, you have to. And I feel that that one can be quite misleading. And for me, I believe has caused a lot of tension when it comes to elections. But when you are saying to people, get your PVC so that whatever it is that you feel, whoever it is that you want to, have a say by making sure you vote and follow the proper process.
I don't even mind. If the church says vote for Mr. A, I don't even mind. Just come out and vote. That's your business. I mean,
just say something.
Come out and do something. Let me take this call from Simeon. Are you there? Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
I want to talk on the Reverend Father that said that they should show their activities before they enter church. That's a very good idea. We are the problem of ourselves. We Nigerians are the problem of us. You will not come and change the people that are not doing well. You will sit down in your house, feeling that God will bring somebody for you who will do well for you. So that's why I said, well, it's not how much amount of money that this Reverend Father, how much they spend in helping people. How much they spend in feeding people. Because none of them are unemployed. But for them to come out and say, and change that, make that change, they feel so reluctant to stay in their house, feel that manna should come from heaven. That's why the Reverend is doing that. So that the body will at least go out from them. So that the government should take over their responsibility. No, not the father to take over the work of government, giving people work, feeding them. That's number one. Number two, do you know that even if all the whole Nigerians have their PVC, that anybody that has money in this country can rule Nigeria? Because when they go to polling booth, they will vote, they will take the picture of the person they voted for, they will go and collect cash. That's what was happening. Is that what happened even on delegates? If you call the person you want to call, you want to vote for, you picture it, take the picture in your camera, go to your...
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. Listen, I think though there are different issues. We're going to compartmentalize these issues. But what is crucial at this time is before vote CVC ends end of this month, the continuous voter registration ends before the end of this month. Let's get as many people to register. Now, my own issue is one thing to register, another thing to collect. Yeah. That's my own grouse. You are registering. After that, I've done the hype. And you now sit back, relax, hoping that they come and bring it to your house. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Yes, that's another one.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. As we were saying before the break, it's one thing to register, to follow the hype and say, oh, Falls is saying go and get registered. We go online, check it out and register. It's another thing for you to pick up your card. It's a whole other ball game on election day to actually come out and vote. There are three different layers. And this is what we must be able to sustain that momentum from registering to actually voting. I was going through some of the numbers here, and cumulatively, if you look at all the numbers per region, so if we look at the North Block, for example, there were 44 million people that came out to vote, or that actually have not come out to vote, that actually have their PVC registered. From the Southern Block, you have 26 million. That's like almost double. So with all these priests and concerts happening in the South, if you are able to sustain that and get almost 40 million figure from the Southern, that would be great to be a part, so that across the block, both blocks, we have a good substantial number. However, I hope the Northern Block isn't going to sleep either, because they'll also be doing some kind of rallying to get more people to get their votes. So regardless, the efforts are good, but we need more. We can't leave it to the priests or to fouls. More people, the churches or the pastors. There's got to be more people saying. So that's why I was saying that you're talking about during the break. You said that they should give them website. And I said, if the poorest of the poor wants to go to America tomorrow, he will find the American website and will call somebody. Come and say, hey, I want to go to America. Please come and help me. If he knows that this is what's going to get him to America, the poor, even the poorest of the poor will find it. But when it comes to things like this, we want to be spoon-fed. Everybody must take responsibility to go and find a way to register.
So, Mariah, you say that we can't leave it to the fouls or the priests. Actually, we can't leave it to these people. They are the grassroots. Those are the sort of people that we want involved. You and I and everyone at the grassroots, community by community. When you have one person somewhere directing, please go and make sure these people are, the whole process gets lost in, transmission and everything. But you have a community priest saying, you, Sarah, I know you. I've told you last Sunday. You did not come because you don't have your PVC. I'm waiting for you. Do you understand? And we have that in every community. That's a huge movement. And for me, I feel that's where politics or governance is strongest. If you have a strong grassroots, you would change many things. And the message really should be, in what way can I help to push in my own community people getting PVCs? I don't have to wait for a local government chairperson. I don't have to wait for this big man politician that lives in Abuja to come and tell me about it. I don't have to wait on TV for a group of women, very far away from me to tell me to get my PVC. That lady just down the road has been asking us to come and line up. They have made sure. And you know what? Something about community is, we know where the office is. 9 a.m., we have begged them, and they say they're going to wait for us to, and galvanize people. I know in the North, they also try to do that. Women will come together in their small ways. You see them talking to each other about things like that. The Southwest, because it's so much developed and everybody, especially Lagos, everybody's just facing their front, that community thing is not so strong. And that's where we need to push.
But we must also speak to INEC, because if you recall, recently, it's in the TBS, not TBS, in Amuodo, I think, where they tried to register a huge, I think it was TBS, Tafa Square, no, a trade fair.
Okay.
Trade fair. People, they actually stopped work.
Yes,
that day.
That was just last week.
Yes, last week. Yes. Stop work. So, everybody come out and go and register. Unfortunately, there was some kind of the fight back, because I think they didn't have enough registration machines. So INEC now knows that, okay, people in trade fair are coming out to vote. Please, INEC, get your machines. And people, as we're advocating for people to come out, make sure we have more registration portals for people to actually register, because people are having issues with that.
So I must recollect my collection process. I went to the Koshofe local government on Ojota to collect, and there was, of course, a long queue, but I did not mind. It was crowded. It was the disorganization where if you have connection, you pay your way to get through. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that. Let me experience what everybody, average person, would experience. And when I finally got to my turn, they checked your name. They didn't get my card. They checked the batch by batch by batch. It wasn't printed. My husband got his own. I didn't get mine. And why didn't I get my own? No reason. Maybe it was just skipped. Is there a process for me to get a reissue within that 2019 election period? No comments from the people at that level. Did not have any explanation to give me, and there were many in that category. So we need to increase our efficiency. It isn't rocket science, and we must be able to make sure that, okay, we have boxes. Each box contains A to B. Your name, if your name starts with T, you find your name in this box, whichever way. That level of excellence and organization is important. I think INEC also needs to engage private sector to support that, because, for example, churches is what I know, but churches do events all the time. They handle crowd every day. They know how to organize these things, where you know how to pre-register, where your booth is, how it's something they do, like, it's a no-brainer for many churches and many organizations.
I agree with you, but there are people that we're paying them salaries. There's a reason why
Right.
an INEC official
Exactly.
you're getting salaries. They need to improve, really. We have this civil service mentality where you come at a certain time, almost careless about important data like that. I know that because I went through the same thing where we went, we could not find my details, my card. I was supposed to go back to collect it. And just that, okay, who is the next person to meet that can handle this?
Who will
and
resolve
who
the
can
issue?
give me certainly that, okay, come back in 24 hours or 40 hours. They will let come. And then you come, you don't meet the person that you met before. You know, things.
Different
At that
stories.
level, we need to make sure that
Right.
our staff are doing much
We have to
better.
wrap up on this. Let me take a few calls. Fight Victor, then we wrap up. Good morning, Victor. Are you there? Hello, Victor. Are you there? Oh, we lost the call. Any messages on social media, Maria?
Yes.
Because we wrap up on this.
So, Mirror Evil Back says, how many minutes does it take to produce a plastic ID card at a business center? Why is it the laminated? Why is it the laminates preferred and the actual not available since I registered in 2017 for travel purposes? Vote for what? It's just complaining about INEC itself. Kelly says no one can collect any card that isn't his or has this time around, because people are insinuating that the cards are going to be collected by different people to rig the
No,
election.
things have changed. INEC has gotten more digital and a bit more efficient than before. It's not perfect, but they have told us, go online and get your numbers. You'll be surprised. You might actually
Yes,
get
he said that right now, pickup process means you must be snapped at the point of collection as evidence that you picked up the card yourself.
Okay, I have a call from Olari Waja. I'll come to you. Olari Waja, are you there?
Yes, I am.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I want to thank you girls for what you guys are doing. And I also want to support the attitude of what that priest did.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that he has done. And I also want to, I don't know if you have heard about DPG. DPG, that's Directorate of Politics and Governance of the PFA. They've been going to churches to educate pastors, to educate fathers to advise their people to get involved in politics.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
But a few of them, that was why the Redeemed Christian Church of God subscribed to that path. DPG, RCCG is an offshoot of the DPG of PFA. So they've been going to churches to educate Christians. But you know what? Maybe now that the Catholic priest has told his members if they don't have this TV, not to come to church. Maybe some of them, because I'm part of the DPG, I'm the secretary of one of the state secretary of DPG in Southwest. Perhaps if now that the priest has done this, maybe our fathers in the Lord will wake up to that call and encourage people, church members. We have a number of, I have to go to the Christian fold now. Of course, I have the Muslim brothers who are also doing theirs. Our fathers in the Lord should wake up to this responsibility and encourage their members to go and get their PVC.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's take a few more comments.
Yeah, so Ehi here says, I don't think it's commendable, this about the priest. We must progress towards becoming a civilized society. Denying people access to the house of God is beyond extreme. He's a priest if he can't get people to do the right things using his words. Bilkis says, I'm not sure religion and politics should mix this way. There are different belief systems, however intertwined. You can admonish your congregation to exercise their political franchise, but you cannot compel them. Don't make them choose between God and man.
Interesting. You see, there's a time and season for everything. In the Americas of this world, there was a time where religion was very, very involved in politics. There was a time they've since evolved to separate, to be a distinct corporation. But there was a time that it was quite involved. So I think where we are, where we are right now, we're at points where we need drastic measures. As I was saying that, I've always said it, that we have a constitution that doesn't allow hanging. No, it doesn't allow hanging. It doesn't like a death sentence.
Yes.
But I'm saying that we need to bring back death sentence. We need to bring back death by hanging, because sometimes I think it's as if we've not really evolved to the point where I can accept we never reach that level. So where we are at that level where we need that drastic measure to get people to stop killing killing innocent people. So I hear that, let's not remix it, but we should reconsider some of these things.
So Chigozie then agrees with you. Chigozie Magdam says, desperate times require desperate measures. We're a religious society, so if we must use religion to make people do their civic duties, so be it. Anybody that needs help from me now must show me his or her PVC.
All right, so same thing, man. I mean, I think we should all do it across the board, you know. Although if you want to enter your makeup studio, say, please, you don't have your PVC. In fact, do you want to buy land?
If you want to buy land, no, you will buy the land. I will encourage you. I'll send you the link. I'm not going to come here and lie.
What may happen is someone that wants to buy land from you, like, show me your PVC.
When you come on Your View, collect PVC. That's an ID card. You cannot be on the show without your PVC. So everybody, hey,
let's do what we can.
All of us, we can do this thing. Let's go on a break and move on to another topic. Because I guess we also have Senator Yayi on our show today. That's Senator Solomon Olamileko Adeola. Was supposed to be our guest in the next segment, but unfortunately we can't reach him. He was going to discuss it's not just his political career, but the emergence of Ashwaju as the candidate and the other political interests and topics. But we'll try to see what we can do after the break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.